Hi everyone, it's Nat here. Hope you're all doing well. So I'm on with my finished engineer/train journal finally. So I thought I would do a flip through. It's my third attempt at this flip through because my words aren't working today, so bear with me. So the cover is a Funk and Wagnall's encyclopedia cover. I did have to extend the spine. So I did do a video on that and some of the embellishments and embellishing the cover and sewing the signatures in. So I will create a playlist for this journal and I'll link it down below if you're interested in looking at any of the bits and pieces. So it has three signatures. The first signature and the third signature are like embellishment folders, and then the middle's a naked journal. Now I've used heaps and heaps of your suspension files. They're old suspension files. A employment agency in town was getting rid of hundreds of them, so I rushed down there and grabbed them all. Now I've got to do things with them, but they're great to use, and I really love the way that this has turned out. Initially, your sort of first response when you get stuff like that is to cover it all with pretties, but I thought, no, it'd be really good to make something where I highlight that I've sort of used them, make the most of them, so that's what I've tried to do. Now, also, I made this journal because a lovely viewer of mine asked what I would do with the diagrams that I had in these model engineer magazines that I found. So I did make embellishments with them for one video and, I didn't really have anything to do with them, so I decided to make a journal around them. Now, so I've got the hanging file folder on the background here and then some paper which I've sewn around. The number there was on the spine of the Funk and Wagnall's encyclopedia, but I really liked it, so I have stuck it there. Why not? Couple of Tim Holtz embellishments, cogs, and this little part here which says the journey awakens the soul, and I just added some chain to that, and a Tim Holtz person, but it's one of the really thick baseboard ones. I thought I've got a few of those and they're a bit bulky to put on pages, so I thought he could go on the cover. So here's one of the Tim Holtz stitch slots which I have stitched around, and I have slipped in a vintage tag and some vintage tickets here. So I won't take them out because it's a pain to get them back in again, but they can be removed and things can be added. And here is it's an advertisement that was in the Model Engineer magazine. I'm having so much trouble with my words, I'm going to have to edit this one. Okay, I'll open the page. So in the front cover, I've just created a little tuck spot, and it has another one of the Tim Holtz stitch slots here. I've embellished it with a ticket. I had a page in a train book that had heaps of tickets on, so that's been really good fun to embellish with some of those. It has a tag in here, which I won't pull out and show you. I will leave it in there. It was one that was gifted to me a while ago, and I thought it fit in quite nicely. I've backed the pocket here with just some vintage atlas page and another advertisement here from the Model Engineering magazine that I've just put onto some of the file folder. So that slips into one of the slots. You've got to be a little careful putting things in and out of these slots. I have added it's a Weet-Bix card, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Weet-Bix, the Advanced Australia series. And it is a beautiful train picture, and the colours on this match this journal really nicely. So I slip that in down there. Then another couple of vintage tickets there. So this was the cover of a train book. So I've just cut it out and made this little flip and attached it with some fabric. And behind there's this top tuck. And this can be written on, or some paper can be stuck on there. And this is one of the diagrams out of the Model Engineer book that I based the journal around. So they're great diagrams. Bit of a glossy book, but I really love the way that the embellishments have turned out. And that's stuck on another piece of your suspension file folder. And it had data panels on it, and I thought that was really cool. So I've left that like that to be written on. So that just slips under the top tuck, and you close that over. Now, I have used some labels here. They're Tracy Fox's labels, and I'm pretty sure all the ones I've used in here are from the More Rather Random Mix labels. So I will link Tracy's Etsy Love Junk journals down below in case you want to go hunting for those. Now, this is a flip up, and it's made with a vellum piece from this Art Daily vellum journaling pad Beyond Science, and I grabbed that from Auntie Vera Scrap and Craft, and I'll also link that down below. It's awesome because there's heaps of pages in there. There's gold and silver ones, and so I've used them a bit in here, and that is one of them. And then under there, just some graph paper to journal on. On this side, I've used some of the vellum again in this film die cut, and I've just used some brads in the corners. So it looks like it's been attached with the brads, but it hasn't. And to back it, I have some start book page there, and it's got a beautiful map on it, and I like that. It's just a simple journaling card with a picture of a train, backed onto file folder, and a photo. I'm pretty sure it's a tram, that photo. I did get some photos of train stations and trams, and that are copies from some library somewhere. Now, this is a paper bag that I made. I think I might have done a video on this. Not sure. I'll have to check. But as I said, I'll put a playlist down below. Just got to be careful so that the paper clip doesn't hook onto my stitching there. Now, it looks like, yeah, I did make it. I was just trying to see if it was a paper bag cut down or one that I just made with some of your butcher's paper, because I've sewn up both sides to close it. And then I've flipped the bottom up to create a little pocket. So that can be stuck in somewhere, but I decided just to leave it as a floating pocket. So in the bottom here, it has an advertisement out of the Model Engineer magazine, embellished with labels and pictures. And then on the inside, I've got another one of my journaling cards, the train picture. And that should just slip in. I think it's getting caught on one of the side bits. And then this is just a beautiful diagram from a train book. I harvested a whole heap of train books that I wanted to put in the recycling. Got all the good pages out to use, and so I ended up with heaps and heaps to choose from, which was great. This side is another pocket that I've made. Now I've stuck this little tag with some graph paper as a little booklet so they can be written on and then pulled out. But I've left it unstuck just at the top, so it's sort of like a little tuck spot as well. And I've just stuck a vintage ticket in there to show that it is a tuck spot. I found heaps of advertisements in the train magazines and books that I broke up. So I've just stuck a little guest check in there to be written on. And also this picture out of a book. It's on one of the other data panels from the file folders. They were so much fun to use, the file folders, and I love the look of the colour and the texture of the card as well. So it was really nice to leave it showing a lot. Now this is out of a book, and I've just left that open as another tuck spot, and I've just stuck some paper in there that can be written on. It does fit in there nicely. Just leave it like that for now. On this side I've backed it with some more atlas page, and I created this little pocket, so that just opens up like that. It can be written on. Got one of my diagrams and a picture of some train lines there. And then you close that back up. Now the only issue I've found with this is the brads that I've used are indenting on this picture over here slightly, which is a bit of a shame, but I've learned a lesson not to use those. I wonder if that happens to everyone else that uses them, but yeah, anyway, it's not too bad. Oh, and at the back I've left it open so that you can tuck something into, and there's another embellishment piece that I made with the diagrams from the Model Engineer magazine and one of the adverts from it as well. So that just slips in there. So this has just got some end book page, really old vintage it was. It had a bit of writing on it as well, so I've just stuck this paper onto as a journaling spot to cover over the writing. Just a scrap of my atlas page and a beautiful vintage picture. Now this is the cover of the naked journal part. So I've just got the railways up there, a picture, and it's backed onto some fibre. Just did a little bit of a collage there. And one of the diagrams, that's a beautiful diagram, that one. Then on the inside, I've used some of the paper that I've used here. That came out of a magazine. I think someone might have gifted it to me, but it was really handy for this. So there's heaps of room in this journal for whoever gets this to make it their own. And I tried to leave room in between the signatures so that this can expand. So you can take bits out of all the embellishments out of the embellishment parts and stick them in here if you like, or put your own stuff in there. So I'll go through this quick because it is just blank paper, but it's tea-dyed, the old computer paper, graph pages, ledger paper. Some of the diagrams out of the book. As I said, I was trying to highlight the different ways that I would use those diagrams. This is out of Trigonomic, must be a maths book. And there's a paper bag in there that you can use as a pocket. Some yellow ledger, diary page that's been coffee or tea dyed. One of the atlas pages. So there's heaps of writing space in it. And then in the middle we've got a big page of your diagrams, and this flips down so you can see the whole lot. And then, of course, the rest of it is the opposite side of all of those papers. And there's the other half of the brown paper bag, which is open as well. So there's more room to shove things in. And then the last page has some more of that paper on. So, yeah, that it's just naked. It's very nude. So, and then the last signature is this one. I've got some more of your end book page with the map on it. Beautiful picture of a train. This is end book page as well. I love the pattern on that. Probably wouldn't use it anywhere else, but it looks really good in here. One of the adverts out of the Model Engineer magazine. Just says steam there. So a little pocket here with some fabric, and it's got one of my tags. I'm pretty sure I did a video on those as well. It's just got some vintage tickets and Tim Holtz person. Picture out of one of my books. And there was the word crew in one of the books, so I thought I'd put that on. He's the manager. He's part of the crew. And then there's some of the other crew members. Now this is just a little flip up that you can take out and write on. I did a little bit of stamping just on these pieces because they were a bit bland and blank. So with these crew members too, I've left them, I might have to stick something in there so whoever gets this realises that it's a tuck spot up there and it's also a tuck spot down there. And it just says orders attended to day or night. That's a Tim Holtz stamp. Thought that was a good one to put near the crew. Now on this side, it is end book page at the back. Another beautiful ticket just to embellish a bit. That can be written on or have something stuck on it. I've put some paper on the back of that journaling card. Beautiful carriage picture. And that slips into that pocket. Then there's another pocket here. I made this pocket. It was one of the embellishments I made before I ever started the journal. So it was meant to sit on the other side of the page around here, but it's not the same size as the page, which, you know, you'd want it to be sort of. So I decided to put it around the other way, and it worked all right like that. So, because at that stage I didn't know I was going to make a journal. I was just making the embellishments. So... then there's a little booklet. I've made a video on these as well previously using the vellum, the Art Daily vellum pad. And I just made a little ticket book. So these tickets can be pulled out and embellished, or can be written on as a little notepad. And then I've just stuck this pay envelope in there. So you can stick some ephemera or whatever in that. And then I just stick the base of this under there and it sits in there quite nicely. So I've done 5 whole pamphlets stitched to stick all my signatures in to keep them in nice and firm. So on this side I've got another one of the diagrams here and adverts. Another one of my tags. These are your Tim Holtz. I can't remember what they call them ones. Yeah, distressed tags I think they are. I've done a bit of stamping and just embellishing with the model engineer diagrams. And I've made a 3-part pocket here. So that was the first part. And then in the second part, there's one of my other embellishments that I made. That can be journaled on. And then at the back, we have this vintage piece of paper that is from the Australia's Workers' Union agreement made as between the South Australian Railways Commissioner and the Australian Workers' Union covering the work of the construction and relaying of railway lines. So I thought that was really cool to put in here. So I've just slipped that down in the back pocket there. It's a little bit fragile, so you need to be careful with it. Slip that one in there. Before I put that one in, beautiful picture of a train that flips open. You can ride on this side, and then I've made a little pocket here, which is a little hard to get things in and out of. It is tight. And it's got this little journaling card that I made. Can I get it back in? It just needs some wiggling and jiggling. There we go. Now that reminds me too that I didn't show you ephemera at the front of the book, so I'll show you that when we get to the end, I think. So I've made a pocket here and I accidentally ripped the paper as I was putting it together, so I've used some of my distressed sticky tape to stick it back up. Why not? Now this paper on the background was the cover of a really vintage, possibly antique book. It's like a paper cover. I love the paper, so I've just stuck that there. That can be written on. And there's a beautiful diagram out of a train book, and I've just backed it with some tea-dyed paper. Another tuck spot there, another one of the Tim Holtz stitch slot pockets. I've put my dictionary meaning embellishment there. It has engine, engineer and engineering. There's another advert. It's a little tag that I've stuck one of the vintage tickets onto. So as I said, these little pieces can stay where they are, or they can be used to decorate the journal. Now this is a shell collector's card. Project card with Puffing Billy. I like to be careful when I'm putting the real things in. Another one of my tags that someone's gifted me. This is a public warning about trespassing on the railways. So I thought that was cool to stick in there. Bit of mapped back there, journaling card that I made with a vintage picture. A little message notepad piece, just use as a journaling spot. Love this picture, so I stuck that on there from 1829 Grand Competition Locomotives, Liverpool and Manchester Railway. And then I've just embellished it with some washi that came off of a Happy Mail that someone sent me. Then on this side, I've got another one of the Tim Holtz people standing up there. Little pocket here. And I've tucked in another one of the embellishments that I made with the diagrams. And then I've got this booklet. Now it's backed with some more of that vintage covering book cover paper. And then this beautiful Western Railway, Great Western Railway Company insignia. Thought I'd stick that on somewhere. This is Perry Welfare Review book. Don't know if this has a date, but I would say probably the 50s. Because a lot of the other stuff I put in here was around, oh, here we go, 1945, close. So I haven't really read all of this, but I do know it has something to do with engineer. Perry Engineering Welfare Club. So I don't know what else I'd do with it. So I thought, yeah, that can go in here as well. And then at the front, I forgot to show you in this pocket here, there is some more ephemera. And this is dated 1953. And it is, dear sir, the local engineering trades committee. I'm pretty sure someone was learning how to be an engineer. Yeah, issue certificate of recognition as a recognised tradesman. And whereas the local engineering trades committee of South Australia. So I thought that was really cool to stick in here as well. So that is it for my engineer journal. I hope you guys liked it. I had heaps of fun making it. It took me forever. But yeah, it was heaps of fun. I really loved using those hanging file folders. I just love the colour on them. It's nice and vintage as it is. They were pretty vintage, I reckon. They're pretty old. No wonder they were getting rid of them all, and it was lucky that I saw them on Marketplace and went down and grabbed them. So take care of yourselves, be good, and I will see you again soon. Bye.